Now invite on dais Mr. Prasanna Lohar, Head Innovation and Architecture, DCB Bank Limited. Mr. Prasanna has over 18 years of industry experience in engineering and development, product development, organizational strategy and governance, risk audit compliance management, enterprise architecture, mobile apps, digital transformation. A professional banker having experience in digital innovation strategies, speaker at industry level panel and BFSI. Strong leadership ability to collaborate across lines of business, partners, startup fintech, and customers to drive win-win situation for all. He has experience with more than 30 banks and performed technical ownership and program management at international industry. Request Mr. Prasanna Lohar to enlighten the audience with his presentation.
Very good morning. Yeah. So I think Sandeep sir and sir has already set up a tone what exactly we are going to discuss throughout the day. And the slides which especially Sandeep sir has covered, so has made my task quite easy. So you may feel like that some of the slides are repeated, because I thought as the topic is like digital disruption for banks with the help of a fintech, so I thought of covering that aspects also, considering banking fraternity or banking sector. So I'll just start with my presentation. So what we have seen personally in our human life, every 20 years we come across kind of a different changes. So you can just start imagining what all changes we have seen last 20 years back and before 40 years back. And what has happened for every 20 years, we have really seen the changes in technology and the way we operate. Our business model, operation model, every time it goes on change. Now typically in year 2007 until 2017, you must have seen drastic changes. So why 2007? Because that was a point in time smartphones has come in our life. It was always there outside of India, but what we have seen, rise of Android or a rise of iPhone, many other innovations happened in year 2007. And now up to 2018, you must have seen the life before 2007 and now it's absolutely changed. If I ask some of you, you should read a newspaper every day. Some of you will read, but most of them will see, I'm happy to read it on InShots or all different kind of apps. Similarly, if I ask some of you for a fund transfer, for every fund transfer you have to go to the bank branch. You will say, if it is really necessary, just like demonetization days, you will go, but you will not go often on a bank branch. Now take example, my personal example, I passed out in year 2000 and I got a job, and company has asked me to open a bank account. So with the help of a company, I opened my bank account, and it took around 30 days to open bank account at one of the well-known bank. And I was so happy, my bank account got opened in 30 days. And maybe I must have referred that bank to many of my relatives, my friends, you should open bank account in that bank, and they open in 30 days. Now in year 2019, start January, if I ask some of you, you should open bank account in the same bank and they will take 30 days. You will say this bank is not relevant. They are not really tech savvy, or they are not really taking care of customers, right? Nowadays, if you want to get on board onto Flipkart or Amazon, it's a matter of just registration and a little bit KYC, and you are doing transactions out there, and same transaction which you are doing on a bank or fund transfer and so on. So that's the journey I have seen. I was so happy with the bank account. I always remembered that chapter until I joined my bank. When I joined bank in 2014, that's how I felt this is the best job I should be in a banking. And I always felt banking job is the best job. You will go in the morning and you will come back in the evening by 6 o'clock. So earlier I was part of the other side of a table, servicing to the multiple banks. So more than 25 banks I served nationally in most of the banks, in merchant acquiring or a card issuance business. So I was like, yeah, what to do? So much of work I have done. Now let me be the other side of the table. Let me see what these banks are doing. And I felt that that's how the era started of digital disruption. And from the day when I joined, I felt like every day is like I should not be in a bank. So it's like early morning going 7 o'clock and be there at 7 o'clock. And nowadays banking is a 24/7 because your channels are 24/7. So you have to be always on the toes, and customer is always asking or reacting or giving your comments, and say it could be most of the time is customer feedback is odd. And it comes on a Play Store, or it comes on social media, or it comes on to contact center, something goes down. You have to be always 20 by 7 up. Earlier it was okay, only bank branch is there and people will come in the morning, people till 6 o'clock bank is open, people will do the transaction, they will be in the queue, very happy to be there, discussing what's happening, what's not. So that is how the era. That is also available, or it's the reality outside of cities, in villages, still people prefer to go the bank branches. So apparently I had visited one city, a small village in Bhandaradhara after demonetization near 2017 start, and just out of curiosity I was part of a bank, so I inquired some of the guys. So how was your experience during demonetization? First of all, they don't understand what is meant by demonetization, that word. They just heard ki there was some activity, you have to go and deposit your old currencies, and some of them said ki it took 5 days for me to deposit, because every now and then I was going, your network is down or system is down and I am not able to do the transaction, and by the time my number comes it was a 4th or 5th day. So what is the impact? He lost all his daily wages for last 5 days. So that's actual reality in that area. When we talk about fintechs or digital transformation and so on, it's a journey, gradually we will reach to that last milestone also. But when you look at reality, you have to really see the what kind of a digital transformation we are doing for that generation. So this is how we have seen a lot of changes have happened last 10 years or past 20 years. Since 95 we have seen rise of open internet. So internet was available to everyone, right? So you must have been connected those internet with that MTNL box with some kind of cranky noise. So nowadays always available in the mobile. So but I was connected to the internet on a PC with that first 5-10 minutes will go into that connecting and then get into that. So that's the era we have seen. So when we see the transformation, what is the key as of now is innovation. Keep on innovating and keep on collaborating with the right partners and with the right pace. You can collaborate and you can innovate, but after 3 years if you are innovating which is what's needed at the right now, so you are disbursed. So this is what banking industry also saying. Okay, so this is what Sandeep sir has spoken, right? This is our journey we have seen, mainframes and PCs and internet and mobile, and we must be in era of mobile or PCs. So IoT is something which is now coming up, typically in the healthcare area and typically into retail and the manufacturing area. So banking IoT is yet to come. You have to see the person visiting a branch, automatically will get a notification, Mr. So and so welcome, and notification to branch manager also, Mr. So and so has come, please go and greet him. So this kind of is yet to come, at least in India. But you never know, this is the fact, as sir has said, so many billions of devices going to come by 2020. So you have to really see what these devices are going to do with the banking, right? So this is what we have seen. These are all old logos with a blurred vision, with no space. So what is the similarity of these guys? If you see the AOL, BlackBerry, Nokia's, or those STD, ISD booth, or some of the big lines around cinema halls. Still some of the cinema halls has lines. But if you see all of these guys or the share market, so these guys were the best that point in time. They were the best and they were doing the best for their current consumers. But they have not anticipated what is the next wave of consumer is coming and what is that we should do for that. So that's the same fact goes to the banks also. Banks are really doing well for the current consumers, but they have to really see what's the next wave of a consumer is coming. Otherwise, with the blurred vision, this is the future for the banks. Okay, so now coming back, this is what we have seen, the digital transformation. So most of the banks are in this basic digital or advanced digital. No banks is like a zero touch banking. Like I just entered in a bank branch and customer, that guy came and said, this is your bank account. New bank account, 30 seconds, not 30 days. Is yet to happen, but this will happen. This is going to happen. These things are happening because we have seen in our earlier presentation, shopping malls are getting disrupted. You just enter in the shopping mall, collect all your whatever you want to buy and just come out, your payment will be done automatically because everything is connected. Your payment, your identity management, your identity system which is connected to the bank and payment system and this grocery, automatically it will be your payment will be done. So now based upon we are not digital like paper based banking, still in the bank we have a paper based bank. So maybe account opening we have so many numbers of documents you have to sign, typically in a lending, right? At least 20-30 signature you must have done for a credit card or as well as a lending. So this has to be revamped, it has to be transformed, right? Or take example, basic channels like branches or internet and mobile are the basic channels. What are the different new channels are coming? You never know, social media is another channel which has come in our life where the banking should happen. Wherever I am standing, banking should be there. If I am standing in a shopping mall, I need to have banking support. If I am standing in a train, or if I am in an aeroplane, I need to have payment experience out there. So how will I really bring my bank there? It is a huge cost, right? How should I go there? How should I reach to the last mile where internet is not there? How should I reach somewhere where the banking is required? So these are all the things which we have seen. Are you ready for that next orbit? So this is a question for all the banks. So as a bank, some of the banks must be in advanced digital or basic digital, but we yet to reach that zero touch banking or a zero paper and something like that. But aspiration is like that. So how do I achieve it? So with a clear vision, you will be something like this. We have seen example of Google, Amazon. You just can't imagine alternatives for them. Can you imagine, is there another alternative for a Google or Amazon or Apple or a Netflix? So these are the new players who knows where is their consumer and who knows what consumer is expecting in the future. So same vision we are carrying as a bank and want to do something more. So can you imagine your life without WhatsApp? Or can you imagine your life with the data? If I ask some of you guys, I will offer you 5,000 rupees at the end of a day and you should not have internet data throughout the day. Let me ask that guy to the share market agent. He will say, what will I do? I will do so many lakhs of business within that time. That is how the data has become so necessary, and people have, because of this geo movement and many more other things which has come in last 2 years, traction of a mobile user as well as the usage of data is increasing day by day. Okay, so it's very important to understand where is my consumer and how can I really aggregate or collaborate with these logos so that my banking experience goes to all of this. So some of the guys, and you must see how the communication is moving. So we were very happy, right, with the keyboard and mouse. Just imagine your PC without keyboard and mouse. What you will do? You will start innovating. What should I do, right? Then that's how we have innovated something on a QWERTY keypad, some of the mobile phones like Blackberries. And I was so happy to use that Blackberry, and I never imagined that something like Android will come with a touch screen. And looking at that, is that for me? So by slowly I just said Blackberry is not for me, now this Android is for me. So I adopted an Android phone and started my journey on Android phone. But there also I am so, as a consumer, I am so lazy that what is next? Apart from that, what is that next will come? So this is what we talk about, these voice commands. Alexa, can you do that? Alexa or Siri or Google, Cortana. So that's how people want to go away from the channels. Earlier people used to go to the branch, or a PCs or a mobile is with you, but now people are going away. They want, wherever I am, bank or a organization should understand what I am saying. And tomorrow it's like a gesture based. I am entering in a bank branch, I should know, is he happy? Is he coming happy, or if it is coming unhappy, whether I am going out of the bank branch, was he that unhappy or happy? And automatically a trigger should go to the branch manager, person is still unhappy. Is it possible? It's possible. Or if I look at you, I should know what you are thinking. This is what Facebook and Amazons are experimenting, brain to brain interface. So you may say in 80s, what is this mobile, right? But that's what the reality today. You may say, what is the brain to brain interface in 2019, but that's what the reality will be in 4 or 5 years. Based upon you have given the consent, you should read my mind. Then I'll be able to understand what is that your emotional need and every other need. So looking at how the communication is moving ahead and how these logos are concentrating on the consumers, many more companies are coming in our life. So apart from banking organization, these many more companies are like this. If you see each and every logo, they were not existing before 5-6 years before. Biggest example is a Paytm. Although company was existing, their real disruption started since 5-6 years before. Have you seen Paytm's first e-commerce app or e-commerce website? If you will see that this is made by students. That's how it was. But today it is one of the example of, as you rightly said, UI UX is a very important for a consumer to use it. Such a nice, one of the best user experience you will see on Paytms. So there are different areas like payments or lending or insurance and personal finance lending. This is what as a bank I used to do. This is what every bank used to do, or they used to do at their branches. But now everything is coming outside of the bank. and these people are helping or challenging or disrupting that banking journey. So what is there for me as a bank? Is that only branch banking, or is that only online banking or internet banking or mobile banking, where consumer will come and will do the only fund transfer, or will ask for statements? Where is my business? How can I reach to the same consumer who goes to the shopping mall or make my trip or book my show and so on? What should I do that same consumer who wants some kind of a loan? Like he has rightly said, how can I really track that consumer? He is going every Friday to Lonavala and he is looking for some good hotel, or going out of India and he needs some kind of a foreign currency. So I can always do by putting a lot of operations business face to face at branches. But that's not a game when mobility is coming in our life. So this is what one of the quote, like machines will be performing more than half of the work task by 2025. So as on date today is a 29% of our work is automated. By 2025, machines, AI, everything is going to do that. So what as a bank I am going to do? Because everything is suppose getting automated, what should I do? The future of banking will involve the combination of homegrown and the third party. So third party is something which we are going to talk about, fintech. So I need to really rely on them. Just imagine fintech is what? Fintech is a kind of a culture, or a fintech is a kind of a right. As a bank, I have a 100-story building, and wherein some of those stories like insurance or lending or some of those things I can really rent out to these fintechs, and wherein both of them are living together. That's how is going to be journey. It will not be something like fintech and banks are going to always fight. That was always a misconception. Fintechs cannot live without banks, because it is a core bank, and bank is an institution supported by the government, supported by the RBI regulators, and fintechs will always needing banks. Similarly, banks will always need of fintechs. They cannot evolve, they cannot build something kind of very good experience and app within 2 weeks the way fintechs can do it. Even within a bank, I can also hire some of the guys and start doing it, but it's not my business. My business is banking. My business, how can I reach out my banking everywhere? I can really hire some guys working on analytics, some guys working on payments, some guys working on some kind of a very good UI UX kind of a work, some guys working on a PFM, some guys working. I can really do that. And many banks are doing it outside of India. They have their own in-house development companies. Even in India also some of the banks has supported companies, but that's not their business. Our business is to how can I really grow as my banking business to the last mile, wherever this banking support is required. So how do we do that? So sir has touched upon what is meant by digital. So in my view, when we want to shift any of the organization to the next level, you have to really see what is my current condition. So in India, there are 5-6 types of banks. Everybody knows like PSU banks, or top banks like ICICI, SDFC, or transacting banks like S Bank, DCB Bank, or challenger banks, you can see IndusInd Bank, or some of the banks, new banks, payments bank, Paytm or Fino or Aditya Birla, NSDL and Jio are going to add, or something like small finance bank, AU, Jeevan and so on, and typically cooperative banks. If you look at these type of various types of bank, every type of bank has its own journey, and they have reached to the some level. What is the next orbit for them? For example, now Paytm, with all new people, new architecture, new infra, everything, they know what is the next orbit for them. But if you ask me, which is 86-year-old bank with the old architecture, old people, and I am saying that we need to create a wallet, big challenge within a bank. I am saying that we should have this mobile banking is not good. It should have a bill payment as well as this. Let's do it by next 3 months. Big challenge. If I ask same thing in any small finance bank, yeah, it's in our strategy. We are going to do it. If you ask the same thing cooperative banks, is it for me? These new regulations come, I have to sort it out this or something else. So when every bank has its own journey, so what is the next orbit for me? So every bank has to understand what is the next orbit for them. So strategists within a bank need to understand where am I? Am I at a 4 or a 5? So if I have to reach at a 5, what should I do? So that's the exercise we typically do at our bank level also. So under part of that we see, for my transformation I should concentrate on these 5 pillars. If I say I want to do something on blockchain or something to do in AI, do I have this kind of a people? Do I have that kind of a governance? Do I have blockchain expert the way I have DBAs, or the way, do I have this AI experts or data scientists? No, please bring on those peoples, reskill existing peoples. That is a digital transformation. It's not only building a mobile app and giving it to the consumers, or it's not building an AI experience on a chatbot on a website. It's not a digital transformation. Transformation is across the organization. You need to have each and every organization, each and every person in the organization sitting in a branch, he should know what as a bank we are doing. So the next leg is the processes. Understand which are the processes to be transformed. You can transform all the processes. You can be a zero touch bank. It's not possible for a cooperative bank or my bank. Every bank has its own priority. So based upon a business priority, they can invest. They can invest in all. But what is the outcome? So sir has rightly said in one of the slides, what is a business model? What is that business model is going to help you? For take example, my bank, SME bank. I will always do all kind of a disruption transformation for SMEs. Like all of my SMEs are using what? Zoho, Tally, or plenty number of such apps. So I should bring on my transformation there. I should open up my APIs to that platform. For example, that SME is using Tally, and in that Tally he gets a menu like a bank, and within that he gets everything around that, fund transfer and every other stuff. This is what needed as a transformation, which nobody is offering. What will happen? Customer experience and CASA, earning more customers through that channel. That's the transformation. So I need to see which is the process. What is that measurement KPI needs to be transformed and innovated. Third thing, which are the technologies are going to be helpful. Like for example, this Hotstar. If I ask Hotstar, please put your every infra on this data manage data center, what they will do? We will be able to support only 5 lakhs users. What happens typically in the last few hours in IPL, the traction is like 2 billion people are watching, 2 million people are watching Hotstar in initial 5 years. Last 2-3 years of 2020, it goes to 40 millions at times in a finals. So how they are catering that requirement? Because they are on cloud. So do I have a right technology to cater my requirements during demonetization? So apparently, fortunately we were having, but take example of that area where network is not there or bandwidth is not there. So right set of a technology or infrastructure to be needed is needed. So adoption of AI, blockchain, IoT, whatever we are talking today, and we may feel this is just okay. Like one of the slide it was saying about, let's wait and watch how other banks are doing. And if somebody is really doing on blockchain, let me be part of that. It doesn't work like that way. Why Apple, Google, Amazon are on top? Because they have taken risks. You have to always take risks. You can read n number of reports where you will find organizations who are taking risks are successful. So adoption of a new technology is a must for all, and banks are also understood that we have to have another kind of a unit innovation which will take care of adoption of new technologies. And few of the banks have already started that journey. Fourth aspect is external forces which are helping your or enabling or disabling. Aadhaar was there, Aadhaar is not there right now. So it is all about regulation, what regulations talks about. So some of the fintechs comes to us and say, sir, I want to create a card which will work on ATM and POS and internet banking, and even it will work on a non-banking applications. So I told that initiative is already going on with NPCI, they are going to come up with a common card, journey over. But this guy has already invested 25 lakh rupees since last 2 years. So people need to understand what is that regulation, what is that external NPCI or these non-profit organizations doing for us. Some of the guys do not know, for example, Aadhaar, and most of the fintechs are relying on Aadhaar as an onboarding system. Now they are struggling. So it is very important to understand what regulations say. Some of them are working on cryptocurrencies kind of startups. They can be successful for few days, but as a sustenance model, they will be unsuccessful because it is not allowed in India. So it is very important for banks to understand what is the regulation around any kind of a disruption. We can do everything, but we cannot read customers' data now and then. Today we are able to read, but after 1 year, I am not sure once the data protection law will come, just like the GDPR had come into European Union, all the apps will go under change. And everybody be like, it will be more worse than demonetization for changes to be done within that timeline. And other external forces are partnering with the right fintechs. And finally, whatever you are doing, you have to really take care of consumers. It could be internal consumer like a lead management app or HRMS or learning management and so on, or it could be for your external consumers. So when you understand your transformation around these 5 pillars, you will be able to crack it. So how will you be able to crack it? With the help of technology. So we already adopted mobility or automation like robotic process or cloud or social. So most of the organizations started this journey, AI or IoT or big data or a blockchain, right? AI, most of them has already started. So I think in 2019 or 18, lot of investments has done only on AI kind of startups and big data. So blockchain, IoT will come gradually. How it will come? Absolutely, security is always a part of it. So when we think of adopting any fintech or any startup in our banking journey, so we don't work with the fintech for core areas. We will not hire them for building a core banking, or will not work with them for a lending system. We will not work them for a treasury system. Or if some startup comes and say we have done very good LOS and every loan management, we will say no. So why? Because they don't have a domain knowledge, most of them, and they don't have the sustainable factor. For how many years? Now take example core banking, I will always go for a company like Finacle or Infosys or something like that, because we have that journey, how it's really helpful to go with us big players. So big players will be always there. They will be always there, but challenge as they have to change. Now when we do the transformation, we always look at what all things can be transformed to front office or mid office or a back office. So when I say front office, whatever I was doing with the paper based banking, can I transform it on mobile? So we come up with some of the startup fintechs. They are helping us to create a tab-based app with iris or biometrics and so on. So your consumer onboarding experience becomes so easy. Not only onboarding but servicing as well as the engagement experience on mobile. So current mobile banking app which I am using, it could be only for utility bills and so on, but the same mobile banking app, I have to use it for a everyday bank. What is meant by everyday bank? Everyday bank means from morning to evening, the bank app is the only app for him. That means that bank app caters all WhatsApp or any kind of experience you are doing another apps, I need to cater that experience in my app. How? With the APIs or aggregation business or SDKs integration, so on. So bring on all front offices on your transformation journey, where you see examples of chatbots. HDFC Bank, many banks has done it, and every bank has its own traction towards chatbots. It could be customer chatbot, it could be internal HRMS chatbot, it could be internal ticket chatbot, or and many more examples. But chatbot is going to be one of the interface, just like a website or a SMS and so on. Variables are going to be there, or platforms which I was talking about, SME platform which we are building. So instead of he should log in on a corporate internet banking, he can just log in from the Tally or Zoho itself, because it's his need. And I have seen personally, when another example, whenever you are creating a product, ask customer, do you want it? So we asked some of our branch customers, do you need WhatsApp banking? First of all, they can't imagine WhatsApp banking. Then you have to make them understand. WhatsApp banking means whatever transaction you are doing in internet banking or whatever you chat, there will be another number wherein you can say balance, fund transfer. Yeah, so then they say, yeah, it will be very good for us. But I think, sir, we will be able to send only small amount. We will not be relying on that for a bigger amount, 3 lakhs or 8 lakhs or 10 lakhs on WhatsApp. God knows. But that's a fear, and that's how every channel has evolved. So I think look at whenever you are creating any of the front offices which are towards consumer or those channels, social media, ask your consumers, do you need it? Or if you need it, what all things you need it? Then it will be a successful exercise for you guys. Otherwise, you will end up doing something which your consumer is not asking for. So during demonetization, I asked one guy, this is a mobile banking app, sir, you can do a lot of transactions and fund transfer and so on. So what he said, sir, I am standing in a queue with this bundle. So will your mobile banking app will accept my deposits? So that was the customer feedback. But how we have evolved that customer feedback, as we have created one option on the mobile banking app by saying create ATM transaction, right? So for example, what is that ATM transaction or a branch transaction? He can just request, this is my transaction, and after that he can go to the nearest ATM and punch in that OTP. He don't have to insert his card or any other thing. That only 4-digit OTP will understand this is a consumer and this is the transaction we have to perform. If it is a withdrawal, automatically money will come back. So as of now, it's evolving. That's the feedback we have taken from the consumer. We have implemented. So while doing this journey, you have to see which are all the front offices channels, and then look at middle offices. So what mid office is doing? What mid office is doing now, that is to be done by automation, or that has to be done by APIs or open banking. So what, as a mid office, I was doing paperwork or whatever it may be, or going to the many other non-banking businesses and asking them, please sell my FD, please sell my bank account. So I need to open up my APIs to those guys. So we are working with some kind of a neo card, which is corporate card, prepaid card. We are working with many other such players, wherein we are opening up our bank account opening APIs. So account will be opened from the other apps, Make My Trip or Book My Show, or it is going to happen that way. Whichever bank is the first adopting that, any of those high transacting apps, they will have many more customers. So that's the business you can bring on adopting new consumers. Once you adopt a new consumer, how do you really serve them on everyday banking? How do you really engage them? So when the engagement game comes, so as you rightly said on AI, big data, understanding the consumer transaction. Once you understand this traction and so on, you can really immediately say, you should go for red pasta, right? So rather than pizza. So once you understand that, you can say your EMI is coming on 25th, why are you buying this extra refrigerator? And you said in your first make a transaction that you want to save 50,000 rupees under part of a PFM app. So these are all our aspirations, right? So bring on AI or a blockchain engine or advanced analytics or infra readiness on cloud, on enterprise service bus, on a back office. Once you understand these three areas, you can really adopt any of the fintechs for this journey. So how much time is left? 10 minutes. So for us, how we are done. So first of all, you understand fintech transformation. What is that customer communication, which we already spoken? What is that needed for a fintech transformation? What is your organization agenda? As a bank, I might be having different agenda. My agenda is like acquire new customers, do a new business models, bringing on my banking to the various other players, and as well as work with future of work and customer experience, business new, and how to do fintech adoption with the API banking, new marketplaces, different business cases, having a right set of a governance within a bank, dedicated team for a fintech adoption and fintech investments and so on. And areas of business for me is payments, lending, wealth management, peer-to-peer payment, insurance, performance management. And how we do it, we have a separate program, Innovation Carnival, wherein we work with the governments, their accelerator programs of fintechs. We work with the various fintechs, more than 200, 300 fintechs. We work with the academias, IITs, IIMs to bring on the fintech culture that point in time. We nurture students itself and tell them this is how you should start your startups. So for them also, during internship, they come and they start their startups. If it works, fine. Otherwise, they are happy to go for the normal jobs. And finally, work with a lot of big companies like IBM's, NPCI, which open up their APIs for co-innovation, or work with the other banks or other organizations, insurance and so on, for a co-innovation kind of innovation. So you cannot bring an innovation only the banking APIs. You have to have a everyday bank, you need to cater all the kind of APIs. So that is why co-innovation is required. So these are the 5 steps we really cater to adopt the fintechs. So why, this is what we spoken, why fintech is a culture, and they are agile and quick, they are innovative, they are a technology house and so on. So this is all in PPTs, I will share this PPT. So why we go ahead for digital customer experience, different operating models and so on, which we already spoken. So the steps how to go for a phase wise, typically there are 4 phases. In first phase, you need to understand what is your outcome. Do you have that kind of a governance team? Second, you understand which are your business cases, line of businesses. And phase 3 is like digital centric consumer. Who is your consumer? What are things you have to prioritize? And fifth one is drive the transformation changes. So this is how you need to go adopt fintech in a structured way. Otherwise, you can always go and touch a fintech and what is your life, this and life is really matching and start to, but it is not a sustainable model. You have to have give chance each and every fintech. You have to give a chance to fail them so that they success again in future. So once you understand what all trends, so these are different trends. This is how is to operate in a branches. Now these branches, if you see these services, remittance, lending, mobile payments, it is all coming outside. Right. There are different type of, so I am going to run fast, okay, after the 10 minutes is remaining. Understand, there are more than 5 to 6 types of generations, millennials. Sir has told what you are doing for every type of generation. You cannot say I am a digital only bank, I will not have branches, sorry, you will not survive in India. You have to have for every consumer, you need to see how every consumer does same transaction. As a millennial, I do the transaction after surveying in the 2-3 different channels. I will go on mobile, okay, I want to buy this. Then I will go on a web, online laptop. Then I will go to the actual branch. I want to buy this one. And whenever I am interacting at a branch, I should know these guys are already done some kind of a survey on mobile and these things. That's the omni-channel architecture I should bring on. So which is in my third, back office. I need to create that kind of architecture. Okay. So you have to see which are all your consumers. You have to see how your digital consumer is. So in year 2018, half of the population, world's population on the internet. So you have to have there on social media. You cannot say my banking will not work on social media or on mobile and so on. And it's growing drastically. So this is another thing, distributed ledger technology, which has become a massive disruption in last 2-3 years. You cannot say let it come and I will look at it. Similarly, there are multiple such things are happening in our life, not only DLT or cryptocurrency, there are multiple things. Your industry 4.0 is there, you have to keep an eye on that. Then you have to see how your work is going on. So my dad has done only 2 jobs. First job was for 6 months, the rest of the job was at least rest of his career. If you ask me, this is my 4th job. If I ask my son, you will say, what is job? I have to keep on doing job, keep on learning. So from this mindset, old paradigm, job, ladder, pension, this is being changed. Every day you have to learn, every day you have to unlearn. I have to unlearn Aadhaar for time being. It is going to come back again, you have to again adopt it. Tomorrow blockchain is going to be big way. In 82s, we used to talk about databases and people used to say, what is this database and what is this internet? It has become integral part of every system. Blockchain, AI, mandatorily is going to be part of every system in next 5 years. So today we will talk about AI, ML, IoT, these things. After 5 years, we will talk about human AI. We will talk about nanotechnology. We will talk about neuroscience and many other technologies which will say, is it going to happen? So similarly, your way of work, the way people are there, they are very agile now, very hyper personal. You need to see everything. Your employees also now become hyper. So you have to understand how the future of work is going to happen. So, and you need to understand how innovation is happening in everywhere. India as an innovation country, we are ranked around 63 2 years back and 60 in last year and today 57. China was 45 1 year back and today they are 17. And whenever we rank this innovation index, banking is one of the things. How you are doing banking with your people. How innovative you have education, future of work and adoption of a blockchain and so on. So it's very important for us to adopt right set of partners and fintechs. So these are all factors, institution, human capital and so on. So these are the different technologies. So we are here. These are all the green which we are practicing now. This is already into production. And after 5 years we will talk about whatever things are going to come. So time today is up to you. If you want to just sit down and see how others are performing, others will perform. Right. So another apart from cryptocurrency, this sharing economy is another business model. Swiggy or you talk about Amazon or you talk about Google, what they do? Google does nothing. They are just earning on these ads or anything, right? They have just a platform and they have such kind of various disruptive models. Now you cannot imagine your life without them. You can't imagine your life without a map, or you can't imagine your life without Zomato or Swiggy kind of thing, or Uber, Ola. कल से बंद हो जाएंगे तो आप एयरपोर्ट से बाहर आने के बाद you have to do a traditional way, you have to go and cab is a one area, but there are multiple such areas where you need to have your banking there. I cannot do it all alone. I had to always partner with some kind of a Swiggy or some kind of a Zomato or some kind of a Neo card or some kind of a lending card or some kind of a bank bazaar or a policy bazaar and so on. Right? So So now that branch, which was earlier I have seen, that has become like this. Same services are now offered by all these players. And I am just sitting idle. Just imagine how my life will be there. That is why it's very important to partner or collaborate with the startup fintechs on a right space. So this is another slide. So this is out, but at the same time, while you are doing banking, you need to see where is your consumer. So 2 billion customers in the world earn $1 or $2 a day, and they don't have a bank account. That's a reality. Although I have 2 mobile phones, so they might not be having connectivity also or electricity. So that's the way to look at in India. Digital India is a one program. Earlier side was talking about sustainable guidelines. So which are a 17 sustainable development guidelines which has been published in 2013. Okay, 2013 by UN. Almost 140 countries are part of that. So Digital India is a program which is supporting that. And we as a bank, we have to support Digital India with a financial inclusion. And it is our responsibility to bring in a much needed innovation in that area. Apps which work on a less bandwidth or without internet and so on. So we are always in search of these startup fintechs who are helping us to reach banking into last mile. So and ultimately security is a prime area. The way we are opening up our bank in all the channels, frauds will always increase. So how can you really reduce the frauds? So adoption of those technology companies or startups who are AI, ML, which you give an example of PayPal. So we also learn from that. We should have to have AI, ML part within our fraud risk management, which we have deployed yesterday. And if I ask my IT team, let's do it tomorrow. We cannot do, sir, please work with startup fintech. And it is a reality. We are asking now those FRM service provider has to change their gears. That's a changing gear activity for big companies also. They also have to adopt AI, blockchain and so on. And they are also now catering with the startup fintech. Accenture must have taken more than 20-30 startups under them. Google or Amazon or Oracle or Infosys have recently started that journey. So every organization is relying on this kind of industry. Okay. So once you understand these are the trends, these were the trends. Just look at your organization agenda, which I already explained. So my organization agenda is like to bring everyday bank. Everywhere I have to go there. Is not clear? So from a utility bank, I need to go everywhere. So how can I go? With the help of this AI, API, automation and so on. So how, and these are all, earlier I was only here, within a only bank. Now it's everywhere. So it's a story, some of you may be from bank or some of you may not be from bank, but the story for every organization is same. Healthcare, same story. Or you talk about manufacturing, retail industry is one of the innovative industry, it's the same story. You have to always rely on some kind of a partner, which is agile. So for a fintech is a banking, regtech or health tech or edutech, a different kind of a startup ecosystem. So I think these are all the why I need benefits, or which are all the areas how we do that open banking, which sir has explained us how open banking helps, or what are the opportunities and challenges while doing this exercise. Is the same thing which we have spoken earlier, why we go for APIs, what kind of different business model. I give an example of Tally or Zoho is one of the example. We are at least working on 4 or 5 such more initiatives to create more platforms. And once you understand fintech adoption, various domains. So these are the trends, like we are number 2 as a fintech adoption in the world, as a quantity, but as a quality, we might be number 20. So Bombay is an example, but as a India, we are number 20 in fintech. We had to be there like China or Hong Kong or a small country like Singapore. So various areas we work for cost reduction, revenue generation, customer acquisition, is so on. And these are the various fintech types, blockchain, insurance, digital banking, and so on. Or there are different areas where fintech usually operates. If you want to start some fintech, you should start here only. You cannot come up with something else because we don't need that. So how to deal with the fintechs with the APIs? This slide talks about that. And one of the most important aspect which every bank is missing out is having a sandbox. What is a sandbox? Sandbox is a test box wherein fintechs will come, experiment whether my account opening app is working with the help of bank's account opening API, or whether my payment experience is working properly or not, or whether my insurance model is working or not. They can come on that sandbox, register themselves just the way they create an email ID on Google or something like that, and use those APIs, instruction, test it, fail it or be successful, and come with the results to us. So this is, every bank is missing it out. What they say, come to us, we'll sign an NDA agreement, we'll sign an agreement, and this will go on 15 days, and after that 15 days we'll open up this APIs with a dedicated bandwidth or dedicated network tunnel, then that will work, will not work. It takes at least 2 to 3 months. By the time they will say, this bank is not really that great. So as a country, it's very important journey for Indian government to create their own regulatory sandbox, just the way other small countries have done it. So Singapore is one of the example. Now Singapore is helping multiple countries to create regulatory sandbox. What it comprises, insurance and every other domain, and there are relevant APIs openly available for startup fintechs. So now we have understood it. Now what I am doing as a bank, I am creating it. But that's the another challenge. UPI is an example wherein all banks has come together. Or BBPS is an example where the payment gateway business was there already with a bill desk or something. Now that is being consolidated. So now for every country or for every successful country, it's very important to consolidate platforms. That is why GST has come up, or that is why many more such platforms will come here onwards. Invoice discounting coming all together. That is why blockchain is going to play a major role. How to bring on multiple banks together, multiple organizations together on single database. Now today, some of the latest government of finance directives or recommendations say there has to be some intermediate database for all the banks. How will I bring them? Or there has to be some real-time database which is available, which will say where the transaction happened, where the transaction ended. Today what happens, only after channel transaction I come to know that this guy was trying. I do not know whether it was trying or not trying, whether it is fraudulent or not. If it is fraudulent, how will I cater it? So it is very important to create this kind of a regulatory, or government support is quite, so various state government has started this journey. So recommendation, there has to be some single entity for at India level, which IDRBT is taking care of, I think now, so which will start. So I think this is I think these are all things which you have heard. That's what I said in earlier slide, sir has made my task easy. Otherwise it would have been very difficult. These are the banks without branches. Doesn't work in India in sense, but these have started without branches. They don't have any other channel except mobile channels. Everybody knows WeChat, WhatsApp. This is a bank which has only core banking, every other service on APIs with the startup fintechs. Wells Fargo. And this is how sharing economy is moving ahead. Or these are the example like DBS, one of the number one digital savvy bank in the world. Or this is a future tomorrow. You may accept it or don't accept it, automatically it come to your life. Or humanoids at a branches is going to come. It is already there in some of the banks. Or there are banks without man being inside. It's a need, right? Some area where there is no need of a man inside, it is possible. SBI InTouch is one of the example for that. Or there are the branches which are working as a branches till 6 o'clock. After that, they converted into hotels or restaurants. That's a cross-industry innovation. So you have to rely on a collaboration with the cross-industry. Bring on innovation from the retail to the bank. Bring on the innovation from healthcare to the bank. Bring on the innovation from a smart agriculture, the way operate in a vertical agriculture. Can I have small branches? So this is all possible provided we keep on collaborating with the right set of startup fintechs. So India journey, everybody knows, with the smartphones, a rise of wallets, with the Aadhaar adoption, or a rise of these consolidated platforms, UPI, BPPS and so on. BEAM, we are the only country having more than 12 channels to do a fund transfer compared to other countries. Or Digital India program, or this rise of telecom and data usage, or different models which has come up with the RBI, whatever they have told in 2013, but 2017 will implement UPI and many other things. They have delivered it. And that is how we are now doing a lot of payment innovation. So I think that is it. I said this is what we have delivered, but after few months we said this is not the only thing we have to do. We have to do so many things. That's how we have started with a program called innovation. So I think that this is in detail what are different. So we started this program So this innovation carnival programs runs around these themes, and that's how we work with a lot of startup fintechs to make them go to the next orbit, like startup graduation program. We work with them at hackathons. We run 2 days hackathons overnight, where they come up on our problem definition. They create a lot of products within an overnight, MVP products, minimal viable products, and we keep on growing with the mentors. So it works with the mentors, right? So mentor has to come and guide them. This is already being done. This is how it should do. So we work primarily with the governments, accelerators, mentors, startup fintechs, academias, which almost all pillars we are touching. And this program has really helped at least for a bank to create some kind of attraction. And I will always say we are blessed with the fintech industry. We'll never say these are disruptor for us. Rather than we will say they are enabling our banking to really grow to our consumer, SME consumers. And there are real examples which we have done with RPA or AI. We are at a bank level, we are creating an AI team. They operate in a startup mode. All young guys, 12-member team, they are creating own AI engine for a bank. Why? Because it's our journey. It's a future. At least it will be there at least 5-6 years. So why to rely on external party? So that's the another mode apart from engaging with the startup. Internal organization, internal people also work with the agile mode. So I think that is it from my side in the interest of time. So these are all our pillars like startups, investors and so on. And so far we learned about what is meant by digital transformation. Customer is the king. Whatever you do, whether it is relevant for a consumer or not, the banks and fintechs are always will coexist, will not exist in silos. And finally, consumer is embracing the unity for this. Consumer is happy to go ahead with the fintech. This is what we learned from Swiggy's or many other such apps. So again, I would like to conclude, innovation and collaboration is right. Fintech partner and technology is the key for success. So that is it. That's me. I head innovation and architecture at DCB Bank. So happy to be blessed to be part of a bank at this point, wherein happy to work with a lot of startup fintechs, governments, and many other non-profit organizations. I head FICCI for blockchain and big data initiatives in India, or I co-chair IMAI forum, Internet and Mobile Banking Association, for cryptocurrency blockchain. So cryptocurrency will come. I will not say it will not come, but it will come as a form of an ethical cryptocurrency backed by some asset and for a certain kind of use cases. So I think it's a very good time and happy to be part of this good time. And thank you so much BCCI for inviting me here and talk about my experience in last few years around how fintechs are helping banks. And that's my LinkedIn and my Twitter handle and my contact number and email address.